To then we're into the craziest moments caught on camera from a girl locking her jaw because she was just casually yawning to a dog literally eating human toes. And by the way, these moments will only get crazier throughout the video.
The dogs puked up human toes.
Great way to start the video. Zack films. A dog threw up human toes. Does it even get worse than that, bro?
Onto the ground. And when the worker saw, she grabbed them. She dropped the toes into a jar filled with a preservative.
Yeah, okay, it definitely gets worse. Sorry, this is just shocking, bro.
Them online for sale. You see, the dogs belonged to a man who died alone. And by the time rescuers found them, they were already eating the dead man.
What?
The worker kept the toes because she was a part of a Facebook group for bone collectors. But when police traced the sale back to her, they found that she had also tried to sell her kids' baby teeth. When she was caught, she admitted to everything in court and got 18 months of community service.
Okay, that's not even that bad. 18 months of community service after selling human toes. And by the way, y'all, all these may look like fiction because it's animated, but no, all these stories are literally based on a true story. Not even joking. Usually in the comment section, there'll be someone telling you, see, look at this guy right here. Blah, blah, blah. If y'all want to read the whole thing, that's the true story.
He hit the ball so hard, the bat cracked.
Damn.
But as the splinters flew, the umpires noticed something odd. When they looked closer, they found a cork inside. You see, some players would drill a hole in their bat, removing the heavy wood and replacing it with a much lighter piece of cork. And this made the bat swing faster. He was immediately thrown out for cheating, but insisted it was a practice bat that got mixed up by accident. Now, this player was known for hitting over 500 home runs, so fans were left wondering if his entire career was all just a sham.
Sammy Sosa? Wait, that's kind of crazy, bro. Well, he says corkbacks are worse and he broke 2 bats while at the plate. The first one was fine, but the second one that the boy gave him was cork, so it definitely was an accident. Wow. And here's the investigation of the truth. Basically, blah, blah. He's innocent. Nice. He got killed by a clothes rack. Wow. Okay, let's see this. This has got to be the most craziest moment caught on camera.
Stumbled back and his head slipped between the rails of a drying rack. He tried to push himself free with his arm, but the plastic tightened around his neck. The wet clothes hanging on the rack added even more pressure. His cries were muffled as the rails squeezed tighter, cutting off his air. And when he was found, he was laying dead on the floor, still trapped inside. The coroner said the accident was rarer than being struck by lightning.
Yo, rip to that man. That is one very, very tragic way to go out. He died by a clothing rack, bro. Like, that, I'm so sorry, bro. You're feeling a lot of clothing racks. Yeah, bro. This is some Final Destination stuff, yo. Yeah, bro. Lesson learned, never trust anything in your house, bro. He died just because he panicked. Oh, he can bend the aluminum rails easily, and you applied force to construction instead of force to get up, tighten it. Bruh. That's so unfortunate. I'm not here to, like, make fun of a dude. That's just crazy, bro.
Plane climbs higher. The air inside your body pushes against your eardrums until it feels like they're about to burst. That's because the pressure outside drops fast, and this affects the pocket of air behind your eardrum, causing a pressure difference that stretches it outwards. But before it does actually burst, a tube connected to your throat balances the pressure by releasing air with a pop. And when you go lower, your eardrum is pushed inwards until the tube pops air back in.
So that's why that happens. I was always questioning, like, whenever you go on a plane, like, your hearing is like muffled or like it's like weird, you know what I mean? Fun fact, babies have trouble balancing the pressure in the ears, so they are an uncomfortable sensation in the ears, which usually makes them cry. Oh wow, no wonder why you hear countless babies crying on an airplane. The dog that fetched a live grenade. Ain't no way this is real. But nah, these are real. The only time Zack films will tell you like a fake story if he puts fiction into the title.
They threw a live grenade into the field where they were training, but their dog thought it was just another game of catch. He ran into the field, picking it up.
No, please, good ending. Please, good ending. No, not a poor German Shepherd.
They screamed and waved their arms, desperately trying to stop the dog as it raced towards them.
That's a live bomb coming at you, bro. That's just a bomb.
Threw rocks at him to scare him off. He paused, confused, tail still wagging. Then the grenade exploded. The dog was blown to pieces right in front of them.
No, who put the dog there in the first place? That person who did that? You're responsible, man. That's so sad, man. Can't imagine how good they feel after failing to stop the dog. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's just so hard to like decide at the moment, because you obviously don't want to go to the dog or else you're gonna be blown up by yourself, man. This is why you never let your dog loose when you're throwing grenades. Like, bro, an innocent and loyal dog just doing his job. No, why you gotta make it worse, man? He saw it too. The dog sat down, confused, and just wagged his tail, thinking it was like trying to understand the situation, but no, blows up. That's so sad.
You would wear a clear plastic dome over your head while running, and inside, small plants sit
Cactus? Hell nah!
mounted around the rim, while microphones and speakers allow you to talk through the dome. As you breathe, the plants absorb your carbon dioxide and release oxygen back into the helmet. Now, this was designed to work as a tiny greenhouse to recycle your breath, but the few plants inside can't make enough oxygen to replace what you're breathing, and the sealed dome would just fog up, while any movement could cause the plants to fall on your face, meaning it was never made.
I'm about to say, because that sounds like the most dumbest thing I've ever seen ever, bro. The plants have to be cacti? Yeah, bro. Bro's about so bad it caused him to faint, bro.
He crawled inside the dinosaur statue, but as he did, he slipped, falling headfirst into its leg.
Yo, that is crazy, bro.
He struggled to get out, but he was stuck upside down, and he slowly suffocated inside. It was only 2 days later that people noticed a bad smell, and when they peeked through a crack, they saw the man's dead body. Rescuers had to cut the leg open to pull him out, but no one knows for sure why he was in there.
This is literally like the Nutty Putty cave incident. Yeah, bro, literally. Even after 65 million years, he still found his way inside a dinosaur's stomach, bro. Wow, bro. Wow. What the heck? Here's the comment, y'all. For those who don't know, y'all can pause if you like to see the whole thing. But dude, that's tragic, man. Dying in a dinosaur statue.
They lit the fluid pouring from the cannon, which blasted liquid fire toward the enemy ship.
Liquid fire?
But as they threw water on it, the flames only got bigger.
Oh no, that's oil, right?
Greek fire stuck to anything it landed on,
what
and it could even burn on the sea. So they launched jars of it at other ships and even pumped it through small hoses like flamethrowers.
What the
And the recipe was so secret that legend says when a man tried to leak it, he burst into flames and died. To this day, we still don't know how it was made.
That's crazy, bro. That's like some video game, man. I just read that apparently Greek fire was so terrifying that enemy's crew sometimes surrendered at just the sight of the siphons being prepared. Wow.
While hiking, the boy began pointing at the air, saying he saw snowmen and Kermit the Frog. His dad tried to get him to focus, but he turned and walked toward the edge.
Y'all, I'ma save y'all from traumatizing content because, bro, yeah, he walked up a 120, dude,
of a cliff.
Rip to my boy, even though we didn't finish the video, so let's
120 feet into the rocks below. You see, his brain wasn't getting enough oxygen in the thin air, and this caused him to hallucinate. His dad stayed with him for 6 hours as rescue teams worked to reach them. The fall broke several bones and gave him a serious head injury, but somehow he survived.
What? Hey! Good ending, y'all. I'm glad, cause dude, 120 feet, that's like, I don't know, how much meters for y'all in the metric system? That's like 36 meters. That seems a lot, bro. How long is 120 feet, y'all? It's the 9/10 as long as the hot penny bridge. So let's see what that is. Oh my gosh. 120 feet is about like, I'd say like this long, bro. And this is like a far shot. So you know this is just way bigger in person.
If you say a curse word, your parrot could repeat the word back perfectly. And if it escapes, it could teach other birds the curse word. You see, parrots naturally copy the sounds they hear the most. And in the wild, showing off new calls makes them seem smarter. Soon, other birds will quickly copy the words and even teach them to their babies, meaning entire flocks might end up learning your favorite curse word.
Wow. Okay, that would be crazy. Bro just actually made the best prank idea to do on the whole city. Why is your parent so racist?
As she yawned, the round end of her jawbone.
So I can't yawn anymore? I'm sorry, I know I didn't even finish the video, but like, yo, these are just the craziest moments caught on camera, y'all, because what the
slid out of its socket, and the muscles around it pulled tight, but couldn't push the bone back in place, leaving her jaw stuck wide open. At the hospital, doctors took x-rays and saw the joint was dislocated. She waited for hours, jaw still hanging open, until they finally sedated her. Then 4 doctors pushed and pulled until the bone finally popped back into its socket.
Good thing she was sedated, because that was crazy. Push and pull a bone that far, y'all. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, hell nah. So right now it's here, and it has to get to here, and this is the most difficult part at this peak. Oh, hell no. She was flabbergasted. I'm afraid of yawning now. That's exactly, bro. New fear locked by yawning. Yeah, I'm actually scared to yawn now. I'm a yawn softly, bro. I'm a yawn close on my mouth, because ain't no way that's not. No. Yeah. Yo, Zack feels traumatizing.
As she cries, her tears fall down into the tube and are dropped into the gun. When she turns the valve, a CO2 canister releases gas, freezing the tears into tiny balls of ice. And when the trigger is pulled, a spring would shoot the tear bullets like an actual gun. You see, a while back, she had a stressful meeting with her mentor, and she burst out crying. And she was so upset that she wished she could shoot him with her tears. So she designed this tear gun, and when it was finished, the mentor agreed to let her shoot him.
Wow. That's some crazy energy. Wow.
As he reached for his next move, he was actually waiting for a signal from his teammate. You see, one player outside used a computer to find the best moves. He sent them as coded numbers by text, and another player inside received the messages. Now, each table in the hall represented a square on the chessboard, so when the message came through, another player would go sit at that table that matched the square, secretly showing the move to the player without saying a word. At first, their results looked like genius, but once investigators found the texts, all of the cheaters were suspended.
That's some crazy next level stuff, bro. I ain't even mad at them. That is some dedication to cheat at the chess Olympiad. Bro, that's crazy. That level of dedication students have to not study. Pretty much, bro. I swear, most students nowadays take all their energy to actually cheat and to study. And I'm not mad at them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not, because usually it's easier to cheat, but when it comes to test time, yeah, I don't know about that. But still, that's crazy.
They bolted the metal feet under the building, then made them walk with hydraulic tubes. Half the feet would lift, while the other half would slide forward, moving the whole thing inch by inch. You see, a new mall was supposed to replace this old school building, but instead of demolishing it, they just made it walk around the corner. And after 18 days and 200 feet of walking, it came to rest in its new location.
It's pretty cool. Back in my day, our school walked to school. That's so funny, bro. I'm really thinking about it. A little school literally walked. You know how impressive that is? That's so impressive. Like, that's just so cool.
The soldier would inflate the balloon, and a plane would fly in low, catching the rope with a V-shaped hook, before suddenly flying upwards. This would yank the person off the ground at over 100 miles per hour, lifting the cable 500 feet into the air and escaping the enemy.
Okay, yeah, man, that's insane.
He drove straight through the fence of the burning house before running inside to save the dog. Now, he came out triumphantly with the dog in his arms, but the neighbors who watched the scene just stood there, confused. This was because there was no fire. Just a man who crashed his car and stole a dog. You see, it turns out he had taken a bunch of drugs beforehand, and this caused him to hallucinate, convincing him that his neighbor's house was on fire. They called the police, and he was arrested.
Cute dog that's licking him, bro. Bro wanted to be here, but ended up becoming a thief.
They painted giant eyes on the cow's butt and let it graze in the field. You see, cows are usually attacked by lions, who surprise them to catch them off guard. But the painted eyes make the cow's butt look like a staring face. This tricks the lions into thinking that they're spotted. And when scientists tested this out, all of the painted cows were safe, while the unpainted ones were repeatedly attacked.
Yo, rip to those cows, bro. Rip to those cows, man. I'm always watching, literally.
He cut a hole in the wall of his new home.
Oh, hell no.
A rag doll staring back at him.
Oh, hell no.
Next to it was a mysterious note. "Thanks for freeing me. My name is Emily. I didn't like the people who lived here in 1961, so I stabbed them." It ended with, "Hope you have knives. Hope you sleep well." Friends warned him to sell the house immediately before he became the doll's next victim. But his neighbors said the wall was renovated just a few years ago, not in 1961 like the note said, meaning someone probably placed it there as a joke. Probably.
Hey-oh! Whoa, that actually scared. What the heck? Yo, I did not expect that from Zack films, bro.
She squeezed the hand sanitizer, then lit it on fire. Now, at first, the flame was almost invisible, but the alcohol in the gel burned fast. And
So, what are we doing? They literally, I'm pretty sure on hand sanitizer bottles, they literally say, do not ignite. Like, bro.
Vapor around it caught fire too, causing the flames to heat up the skin faster than the teacher expected. You see, she had done the same experiment with classes earlier that day, and the fire went out before it heated the student's skin. But this time, the fire kept burning, blistering his hands before he finally put it out. He had to be treated for the severe burns, and the teacher resigned after the incident.
Oh, wait, that's actually tragic, man. The amount of regret she must have felt is crazy. She willingly resigned. It shows that she has conscience. Yeah, bro.
If you collected all of the world's trash, could you launch it into space to get rid of it? Well, we produce over 6 million tons of trash every day, which is enough to fill almost 5 stadiums. So, to launch it all, you would need over 90,000 rockets every day, each fully loaded with waste. Every launch would cost
That's not a good idea, though.
and burn hundreds of tons of fuel, pumping out over 100 tons of CO2 per flight. And even then, most rockets only reach low Earth orbit, meaning a lot of it would come crashing back down.
Oh my
and
gosh,
pollute the
that's
atmosphere as
scary.
it burned up. Now, even if we did launch it further out, the massive amount of trash would eventually form a giant belt around Earth.
Oh my gosh.
These would orbit our planet for thousands of years, blocking out the sun and polluting the sky.
That's scary. Wow. Well, that's actually pretty bad. Yeah, we have trash turn instead of Saturn. Bro, I watched Wall-E last night. I think we all need to watch Wall-E again to explain why this isn't a good idea, bro. Yeah.
As he fell to the ground, he crashed into a church steeple where his parachute got caught. And as he tried to cut himself loose, he dropped his knife. For 2 hours, he was forced to play dead while the war continued below. He watched as his fellow men were killed until an enemy soldier finally climbed up and cut him down. He was captured and put in prison, but escaped 3 days later and went on to fight the rest of the war.
Hey, that's a good ending. Oh my gosh, and there's a whole actual story to it, bro. Bro was so determined that he directly went on to the fight again. Yeah.
If we pulled the crown and metal hair off the Statue of Liberty, could we give her real hair instead? Well, you would need to shave 3 people's heads just to make a regular-sized wig. But Lady Liberty's head has 400 times more surface area than a human's. To cover it, you would need 7,800 pounds of hair, which would weigh more than an elephant. And to collect it, you would need to shave the heads of over 35,000 donors, just to fit on the statue. But if it ever blew off, it could crush a tourist boat.
Oh my gosh. And by the way, that's 7,000 pounds, bro. Which is like, I don't know, like 3.5 kilograms or something like that. Sheesh.
Water rushed through the open doors, tipping the massive ferry on its side. Passengers fell through the ship, and some were sucked out to sea.
No.
Others tried to get to higher ground, but they were blocked by a corridor too wide to jump. Finally, a tall passenger lay down across the gap, offering himself as a human bridge. One by one, people stepped across his back, and over the next half hour, he saved 20 people. And even though hundreds died, many survived because of him.
Yo, W-Mans! And that's where we're gonna have it. The craziest moments caught on camera from Zack Films. And by the way, these are all true stories. If you guys want to see more content like this, give this video here.